Hello everyone, this is Adit back again with another video. So in this video, we are going to learn how to use WordPress API to our Next.js application. And in WordPress, if you have already used WordPress before, then your WordPress gives you it works on PHP, and all the themes that are built on WordPress are built on PHP. So, but there are options to use WordPress API to our client-side application as well, on Next.js, on reactjs, or Angular, or any other client-side applications. So we are going to learn how to do this all the setup, and we will also consume their API. And WordPress gives us both the option for REST API and GraphQL API as well. So in this video, we are going to focus on the GraphQL API. So let's get started now. So to install the WordPress, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use it through the Docker. So I have already installed the Docker over here. If you don't want to use the Docker, you can use any other platform to install the WordPress in your system, and then you can run it there. All the setups will remain same except for the Docker compose file that won't be there. So first of all, let's just create a Docker compose file. Okay, so what we are going to do inside the Docker compose file is we are going to define all the things that is required to pull the Docker image from the Docker hub. So let me just walk you through the Docker hub, and we will also get some example codes from there. So basically, this is the WordPress official image, and you will have to find it on the Docker hub. And if you just scroll it down, so these are the versions of WordPress that is available for us. And this is the if you go over here, it's if you just go through all the documentation, then you will have to find Docker run and WordPress and some network, and you can also run it for the terminal by using all these environment variables. You need to pass the environment variables for by -c, or we can use the environment variable. So basically, I'm not going to explain this much a lot of details about the Docker because this is not a Docker tutorial. So we're just going to focus on how to set up the WordPress, and after that we will consume that API on our Next.js application. Okay. So to set up this, let's just copy this one. All we are going to need this complete thing, and I'm just going to walk you through, give some understanding. Hopefully that will work. I think it should be YML instead of YAML. Yeah. So now, if you just say, there are certain some versions of Docker Compose where we are going to use the Docker version 3 Compose version 3.1, and then we are going to define our services. And inside the services, first service that we are going to need is the WordPress image. So to have the WordPress image, we're going to have we are going to define the image WordPress, and we are also going to put the restart always, and this is going to map to our host machine port. So basically it will work on 8080, and WordPress by default works on 8080 as well. Localhost 80. So this is the port that port 80 which will WordPress work on inside the container, and this is on our machine, right? And these are the environment variables that we can see over here, WordPress DB host. WordPress DB host is you define the database stuff, and you define the username and user password and database name. Okay. And for WordPress DB host, we are going to define DB, which is another service and we are just going to use the image of MySQL version 5.7 and restart. And inside the MySQL DB as well, we are having some environment variables like MySQL database, like database name. This database name over here, and this should match, and the MySQL user should also match with each other, and the password as well, and then root password, and then we have also defined our volumes. So basically what volume does is like it helps you like what happens is like once you stop the container, it lost all the data, but if you define the volumes over there, then it will like persist the data in your host machine as well. So these are the volumes that we have WordPress and DB. And now apart from this, we are all good. Like if we just run this, this will run our WordPress. So let's just run the WordPress first, and after that we will initialize our nextJS application as well, and then we will do the setup for the WordPress to handle the GraphQL plugin. So to run this, make sure your Docker is running. So Docker ps, and so Docker ps command is for like always it will list out all the running containers. So basically as of now there is no container running, and if you just go to Docker images, so basically there is only one image that is running, that is related to the Kubernetes. So we are not going to concern we don't care about this we are not using this for this tutorial, and so no other images are working and running. And now what we can do is like we can just have Docker compose, and once we do the up command, then it will start pulling all the images, and then it will start running on port 8080. WordPress will start running on 8080. Okay, so let's just do that. Let's just run Docker compose up and Docker engineer using running. Okay, so this is pulling all the images from the Docker hub. It will take some time, this is the first time I'm pulling all these images on my local machine, so that's why. So I got some error on over here, like I'm using my Apple M1, so that's the reason I'm facing some error over here. So let's just fix this. And to fix this, what we need to do is like we just need to pass one key over here, and that is platform Linux T64. Okay, and once we save this and we run this Docker compose up again, and I hope my terminal is visible. I'm just running Docker compose up, and now it will start pulling the images again. Okay, so now our Docker, or like our WordPress is working now, running now. Let me just show you. So if we just go to the localhost 8080, and now our WordPress is running, and we just need to do the installation part. So to install it, we're just going to continue, and let's just use nextJS blog. Let's just call it blog. Okay, and let's just username and password as well. Confirm the weak password, and I'm just going to put some email address, and let's just install it. Okay, so now we will have to log in. Okay, and password is remember me, and now we have to log in. Yeah, so this is our WordPress, and there is WordPress 6 is available, so we are not going to do all those things right now. So this is how your WordPress will look like, and now what we're going to do is like to get the APIs in GraphQL format, we are going to install one plugin which is wp-graphql. Okay, and this is the plugin. So all the installation guides are over here. So what we're going to do first of all is let's just install it. I think there must be some installation instructions as well. Yeah, so over here, go to the administrator. So let's just go over there first of all. So let's just add new plugin inside the WordPress, and we have a plugin called wp-graphql. Yeah, this one it is. So let's just install this, and yeah, this is all we need for now. Once the installation is complete, we just refresh it. We need to activate it as well. So let's just activate it. So once you like you should do the installation and everything, and you activate this GraphQL. Here you will have to see like if once you activate that, this button will change to deactivate. And over here we are going to, you will have to see like GraphQL as well. And so we have this. I have already written some of the queries over here. Like I think it is saved from my last time when I was using this. And this gives us complete query and everything. Like this is the documentation, and I hope you guys are already aware of the GraphQL, how this works and how the documentation part. So if you're not, then I would suggest you to go watch some video related to the GraphQL first, and then come back over here, and you will have to get a better idea on this. So like this is the complete documentation. What are the data we can get, and everything, like what is data we can change. Like mutation is for the change when we want to make, like if you are already aware of the REST API, then mutation are like to update or create something, and query is just to get the data. And over here I have defined some schema, and let's just run this. So basically there are some issues over here, and we need to do some changes in the setting to make it available for us. Maybe or maybe we don't need that. I don't know. Let me just remove this filter, and once we do the post and run it, so yeah, there is no need of doing that. So basically we are able to like get the post. These are two posts. One is hello world over here and inside the node, and this is basically this is only one post, and we can create more posts from here. If you just want to create more posts, so let's just have lorem ipsum, and just copy some text from the lorem ipsum. And let's just copy this one. So let's just save it. Let's paste it a few more times, and we can also add the featured image. Let's just add one image. Let's just put this one, and let's just save it. And once we do the publish, and yeah, we can just close it. Just go back, and if you just go to GraphQL CLI again, graphical IDE, then you run it, and you will have to see two posts now. This one is the latest one, lorem ipsum, that we have written right now, and these are the text, and there is another one that is hello world. So you will have to see both the posts over here. Like similarly you can query other things as well, like if you just go over here inside the graphical, and inside the root schema, you will have to like query all these categories and comments, content node, and everything. I'm not going to going deep in it. Now our now what we're going to do is like we are going to initialize a project uh, with the nextJS. So and in the nextJS we are going to use this API, GraphQL API, to run this. So let's just to just go to the nextJS first, and now start learning. And JavaScript, I don't need this. So this is how we can create our TypeScript create next application. So let's just do that, npx create next app, and let's just create our app over here only. Let's just do that. Content file that could conflict. Okay, so let's just create another directory called or we can just what we can do is let's have and npx create react app, and let's just call it client. And so this one is creating now our nextJS application. Okay, so now if you just go inside the client and run yarn dev, this will work on I think localhost 3000. So this is our nextJS application, and now what we're going to do is let's just we are going to have some pages inside the client. We already have one pages index, and just close this one. Let's just install the configure the Tailwind CSS as well inside the nextJS, and then we start implementing our API. So let's just and we need to framework guide nextJS. Okay, so to do that, npx create reactor, not this one. We just need these two. So let's just run this too. Okay. And now what we need to do is if you go to the client, and once we run those commands, then we will have to see that there are some commands like tailwind css.config over here. So inside the tailwind css.config, we need to put this instead of string one. Let's just save it, and now there are some changes need to be done. Let's just go over here, and that's tailwind css. So inside the global.css we need to pass these things. So let's just go to the styles and global.css. Let's just import this and save it, and now one more thing that we need to do is let's just go to the documentation again, and let's just close the server and run it again. Yarn dev. Okay, this should work now without throwing any error. Okay, so if we just go to the nextJS or localhost 3000, and we are able to see like all these things. So in what we are going to do in this video is we're just going to display our all the posts that we have, and yeah, so let's just do that. So let's just create a directory called component, and inside the components we are going to have one directory called posts dot js, and yeah, so we are just going to have fce, and this is just going to display the post, nothing else. And we are just going to clear this out, like we don't need this h1 tag or anything. We just remove it till here, and no need of this div. So now we're just going to import these posts from, and over here we are have to see like we are getting this post component being rendered. So now inside the post, what we're going to do is we are going to get the data, and to configure all those things, like to use the GraphQL on our nextJS application, we need to install some of the packages as well, and those packages includes like GraphQL. So let's just do that. Just go to, let's install those things first. Let's just close our server, and all now we're just going to install yarn add Apollo client and Apollo GraphQL. Hope my screen is visible. Let me just clear my terminal, and let's just clear this, and now just yarn add we are going to have Apollo client and GraphQL. So we run that. Okay, so now we will run our application again, yarn dev, and over here we're just going to query our posts, and to do that we need to first define our first do the setup for the Apollo client, and to do that we're just going to create a file called Apollo client.js. Okay, inside the Apollo client.js we're just going to have import from Apollo client, and then const client new Apollo client. Okay, and we are just going to define our URI, and so our WordPress is running on localhost 8080 GraphQL, and for caching we just new in memory cache, and we're just going to export this. Inside the post, now we are just going to query those posts. So to do that we're just going to have const, and we're just going to have a use query, and we will define our query parameters over here, and this is going to give us load loading error and data. And let's just define our first query over here. Just have const get all post ql, and like if you just go to the graphical, let's GraphQL. So this is what we need to pass over there. So we want all this detail. So inside the query we just pass it everything over here, and we just need to pass this get all posts over here. And if we just have if in case we are having the loading, then we just going to display return h1 loading, or else we're just going to display our post. So to display our post, so first of all, let's just console log our data, and we'll get some idea about it. So let's just go to our application. Okay, so one thing that we forgot to do is, like, we didn't wrap our application inside Apollo provider that we need to do. So let's just go to our app.js, and over here we are going to wrap Apollo provider. Pass it over here, and inside the client we are just going to pass our client that we have defined in Apollo client file over here. So we are having the Apollo client.js, and inside that we define our client. So let's just save it, and now if we just try to run it, so let's just go to the console log. So basically we are getting undefined for the data, and I think the reason for that is so we were getting those codes error just because we were using HTTPS instead of HTTP. Since we are on localhost, we just need to implement use the HTTP URL. So once you do the HTTP URL and just save it, so and you go over here, we just refresh the page, and if you just go to console log, and you will have to see like all the posts that we are getting from the backend. Like it has the title and the content and the featured image as well. So we are going to display this over here. So before that, one more thing that we need to do is, like, inside the eslint.rc, so you need to add this next slash babel. Otherwise it will keep on throwing the error, like throwing the error for the import statement, the way it was doing earlier. So now that one is also fixed with it .eslint by putting this, extending this to next.babel. And now what we're going to do is, like, inside the posts we are going to display our post. So to display the post, what we need to do is we are just going to use the map to do all these things. So let's just have div first of all, and inside the div we are just going to map data dot posts nodes. I'm just going to use optional operator, and then we're just going to have map post I, and now it will just return. So let's just use div, and just have p, and inside this we are just going to have post dot title. Okay, And if we just save it, we will have to see our both of the posts are rendering over here. We need to pass the keys to it. So to post dot underscore id, I guess we are getting the id, right? Yeah, it's just id instead of underscore id, so just pass it. And we can similarly we can display our content and author as well, so and featured image as well. So now what we can do is like we just have we can define our classes as well. Let's just have background white, and this classes are coming from the Talent css py3, so for the padding px8 and mx3 and width 40, and let's put height 20 as well, and overflow hidden. Okay, just see what we are to get over here. Nothing. And we can just define our some classes over here as well. We are not going to do much of the css in this video. I just wanted to do the setup thing first, and that's all that I wanted to do, like setup and display the post. So let's just display the images as well. I kind of have one code that I'm going to put it over here. Maybe that will help and display something on the screen at least. And if you just put it over here. Okay, just save it. And if you're able to see, like we are getting the first post, that is load and ipsum, and this has one featured image, so that's the reason we are displaying the image over here as well. But in the second post we don't have any image, so we just displaying this as it is. And one if you just create another posts over here, then this will also display get displayed over in our nextJS application as well. So yeah, this is how you can connect your WordPress API, GraphQL API with the Next.js application. And there are scopes of making a lot of changes. We can develop our complete UI. So, but for this video, this is it for this video. We are not going to do any more changes on this one. Later on, maybe we will create. I will create on video on something to extend this tutorial. But this is it for this video. If you like the video, consider subscribing, and thank you for watching.